The gates of Buckingham Palace did not simply close on Prince Harry. They were shut firmly and deliberately. What lay behind them was not just tradition or protocol, but a statement, one so resounding it could have echoed from the royal balcony itself. You cannot abandon the institution, set it aflame, and then expect to return to open arms. When Harry recently arrived in the UK, speculation began before his flight even landed. It wasn't about reconciliation or family reunions. The focus was on who accompanied him, Archie and Lilibet. These children have long occupied an uncertain place in royal history. From the very beginning, their link to the monarchy has been clouded by questions, secretive hospital arrangements, lack of transparent records, and public doubts surrounding the pregnancies. For a monarchy obsessed with lineage, ritual, and documented legitimacy, this chapter has always remained unresolved. Then came Harry's demand, not just a simple visit, but for his children to be welcomed into Buckingham Palace with full royal recognition. As though he had never stepped away from his royal duties. As though the fallout from Megxit had never occurred. This was no polite request for tea. It was a calculated maneuver. King Charles recognized it instantly and responded with an uncompromising refusal. No access, no reunion. No special treatment, even for his grandchildren. That rejection went beyond a personal slight. It was a message from the core of the monarchy itself, declaring that while family ties are important, the crown outweighs them all. But the situation runs deeper than a family quarrel. Legal commentators are already questioning Harry's true motives. Why was it so vital to bring Archie and Lilibet to the UK at this precise moment? Some argue it could be a strategic move in a larger custody battle, a step toward establishing Britain as a legitimate home base for the children, possibly even without Meghan's agreement. If a custody dispute were ever to arise, Harry would need to demonstrate that his children have genuine ties to the UK, physical, emotional, and even royal. Notably absent from the entire episode was Meghan. She was not on the flight, not at the palace, and not present in any headlines. Her silence has been striking, whether by design, for protection, or as part of a calculated strategy, remains uncertain. One thing is certain. Meghan had no intention of standing beside Harry while he rolled the dice on this risky move. Some suggest her silence is a way to keep the situation from spiraling further, while others believe she's letting Harry take the public backlash so she can maintain a cleaner image for whatever she does next. Whether that's a brand partnership, another high-profile interview, or even a second memoir, Meghan has chosen not to step into the line of fire. As for Harry, the once beloved people's prince has been reduced to a man knocking on a door that refuses to open. This wasn't just a disappointing visit. It was a failed power play that exposed exactly what he has lost: credibility, authority, and any genuine influence within the royal family. Charles's refusal wasn't merely a denial of access. It was a reminder to Harry and the world that Buckingham Palace is not an open house. It is a fortress. And if the king says no, no amount of persistence will change that. The irony is hard to miss. Harry, who once dismantled royal walls with Oprah interviews and explosive memoirs, now appears desperate to climb back inside them. His insistence on bringing his children wasn't only about their presence in the palace, it was also about clawing back his own relevance. For a man who once left claiming freedom and peace, his recent actions suggest someone longing for the order, prestige, and spotlight that only the crown can deliver. What's surprising is that Harry seems genuinely stunned by the cold reception, as if years of highly public criticism aimed at his family could simply be erased with a staged palace photo op. He wants privileges without accountability, respect without responsibility. But the monarchy has never functioned that way. It thrives on discipline, protocol, and hierarchy, not personal emotions. And Charles, though a father, is first and foremost a king. He cannot afford to indulge maneuvers disguised as family gestures. Then there's the matter of security. Reports suggest Harry demanded full taxpayer-funded protection for himself and his children, despite previously suing the Home Office and losing. Now, he allegedly expects King Charles to cover the cost personally. To many, this comes across as entitled at best, delusional at worst, a refusal to accept the lasting consequences of his own decisions. This isn't 2018 anymore. Public opinion has shifted dramatically. The narrative of Harry and Meghan as bold rebels has faded. What was once a fairy tale has curdled into a cautionary tale. Netflix deals and celebrity spotlights can only go so far. Their once lucrative media deals are faltering. Their brand is losing momentum, and the royal family has carried on without them. William, Kate, Camilla, none of them flinched when Harry came knocking. There was no public outreach, no gesture of support. The family's message was unmistakable. The door isn't simply closed, it's locked tight, and the timing could not have been worse for Harry. Just as he seemed ready to frame a comeback through fatherhood and family values, the British tabloids pounced. The headlines were merciless. Duke denied. Charles says no. Social media amplified the humiliation, turning his failed request into a meme. Thousands of comments poured in, most mocking Harry, most siding with Charles, ridiculing the idea that he still thought he could stroll back into royal life. Then came the focus on Archie and Lilibet. For years, speculation has swirled around their births. Rumors of secrecy, surrogacy, and questions about transparency that have clouded their position in the royal line. By bringing them to the palace, Harry may have hoped to silence the whispers, to normalize their place in the family. But instead, the move reignited doubts. Why now? Why such sudden urgency? And why did the palace push back so strongly? Behind the palace walls, insiders are reportedly furious. Some suggest Charles's refusal wasn't only about rejecting Harry's demands, but also about protecting the monarchy from reopening old wounds. Allowing the children into Buckingham Palace would inevitably stir up difficult questions about their legitimacy, their future roles, and even inheritance rights, subjects the crown has no desire to debate publicly. So, where does this leave Harry? Trapped between two worlds. In America, the adoration that greeted him after leaving the monarchy has waned. In Britain, the welcome mat has been pulled away. Meghan remains silent across the Atlantic, offering no public support. And at the center of it all are Archie and Lilibet, caught in a storm of consequences they never asked for. What was framed as a family visit now looks more like a failed attempt to force his way back in. The fallout from King Charles's rejection runs far deeper than hurt pride. It cuts to questions of legacy. What remains when titles are lost, trust is broken, and bridges are burned beyond repair? For Harry, the truth is stark. He is not only locked out of Buckingham Palace, he is a man without a true home in either world. The UK has moved on, the monarchy has closed ranks, and in America, the sheen of Hollywood sympathy is quickly fading. His memoir, once a cultural lightning rod, now feels like a fading echo. Harry's memoir, once a chart-topping bestseller, no longer carries the same punch. The public's appetite for his grievances has dulled. Each interview feels like déjà vu, retelling the same frustrations, the same family feuds, the same narrative of being misunderstood. But audiences aren't buying it anymore. The storyline has shifted. Harry is no longer seen as the underdog battling an unfeeling monarchy. He's the man stuck looking back while insisting he's moving forward. And then there's Meghan. Absent from Harry's latest UK visit, her silence wasn't accidental. It was deliberate. No awkward photos, no offhand comments, no slip-ups for critics to exploit. She's watching, calculating, waiting. Insiders suggest she may use this latest rejection as fuel for her next major project. Perhaps a Netflix feature, perhaps another headline-making interview. The narrative is already forming. Meghan, the perpetual outsider, cast aside once again by a cold, unwelcoming monarchy. But there's risk in that strategy. The victim card has been played so often it's beginning to sound repetitive. Meanwhile, whispers of marital strain are growing louder. Some say Harry feels increasingly isolated, while Meghan feels cornered. If this high-profile humiliation in the UK was a gamble Harry pursued without Meghan's full support, the fracture between them could deepen. And with legal experts now hinting at custody maneuvers, the stakes are escalating. What began as emotional and reputational fallout could spiral into legal, financial, even international conflict. Picture the headlines: California versus the Crown. A fight not only over parental rights, but over the very narrative itself. Who owns the story? Who defines the future? Meghan will fight fiercely to keep Archie and Lilibet rooted in the US, away from royal oversight. But if Harry insists on pulling them back into the orbit of Buckingham Palace, even symbolically, it could ignite a custody war that drags both families and both nations through the mud. Meanwhile, the palace has remained resolutely silent. Not a word from Camilla. No comment from William or Kate. No anonymous briefings. Just a wall of icy restraint. And that silence speaks volumes. It signals unity. It signals finality. It signals a decision that Harry will not be allowed back in. Not now, not on his terms. And perhaps the most painful truth for Harry is this: he created this reality. In 2020, he didn't just leave the monarchy, he scorched it on his way out. Now, standing in the ashes, he is reaching for a second chance. But in the world of crowns and kingdoms, second chances are not easily given. Especially within the House of Windsor, betrayal leaves scars that never heal. And now Harry faces a sobering reality. He is no longer the boy the world wept for as he walked behind Diana's coffin. He is no longer the soldier prince who earned respect on the front lines, nor the mischievous royal who once charmed the public with his rebellious streak. Today, he is simply a man with waning influence, an estranged family, and a legacy slipping through his grasp. The gates of Buckingham Palace are firmly shut, and they will not be opening again. Because at its core, the monarchy exists to safeguard itself. And for all Harry's titles, tears, and attempts to reclaim his place, he is no longer part of the crown's story, only a cautionary tale on the outside looking in.